Gordon Ryan is the most dominant grappler there is right now. I've always been a big fan of Gordon, and I spent over $1,000 on his instructionals, but were they worth it? Today, I'm going to be breaking down the many moves I got from Gordon Ryan's instructionals, and at the end, I'm going to make a verdict on whether or not they're worth their high price tag. Seated guard. This is the first instructional I got from Gordon Ryan. In this one, he shows his signature shoulder crunch sumigashi. Oh yeah, so something I should explain is that Gordon calls all his moves by their Japanese names. Hantai Senkaku? I found a lot of success with this shoulder crunch sumigashi. This is me hitting against a brown belt Bellator fighter when I was just a white belt. He shows how to do it to both directions too. This is me hitting it against another brown belt. Whee! He also shows a lot of other sweeps that I've been able to hit as well. So yeah, seated guard, 10 out of 10, would recommend. Now his back attack instructional. Gordon Ryan is a savage at attacking from the back. I bought this back attack instructional expecting to double gold at ADCC with 7 submissions by RNC. And while that hasn't happened yet, my back attacks are a whole new level because of this DVD. I especially like his arm trapping system, which allows you to systematically remove your opponent's defenses to the choke. He also shows how to control the back and retake it when they're escaping, which has definitely come in handy. Another lesser known instructional of his is his workout plan called Getting Swole as a Grappler.
Everybody want to be a sexy motherfucker. Nobody wants to stop eating McDonald's.
One thing I think this instructional is missing is how to find a steroid dealer.
People accuse me of being on steroids. Doesn't bother me for a few reasons. Number one, most of the people talking are never going to compete at the highest levels of anything. But I mean, everyone at the highest levels, for the most part, is on something. You know, like our team is pretty much like the only people who really, I think, don't use steroids to a certain degree.
Systematically attacking the guard. I have mixed feelings about this instructional. This is the first instructional that Gordon ever put out, and it shows. It's just so unorganized. You can't find any of the moves because the parts are just named horribly. There are 6 parts called passing high knee shield. How am I supposed to find the one I'm looking for? And the worst part is, he'll teach a pass from like quarter guard in passing high knee shield 5, for example, then reference it throughout the rest of the instructional. But if you ever wanted to find it, you'd have no idea where it is.
They fight to get their elbows inside of my knees. So whenever I see this, I blade their knee in, and I sit back onto my partner from here. And now we have all the passes that we did right from that position.
But the actual contents of this instructional are gold, and they definitely blew white belt Josh's mind. Now his guard retention instructional, they shall not pass. I started looking at this instructional about a year ago, and it has completely changed my guard retention. I've always had a hard guard to pass, because I'm flexible, athletic, nice, and humble. But this made me more technical with my guard retention. He talks about how to counter many of the most common passes. Here Nick has me in the body lock. He wants to connect my feet to my butt so I have no lifting power with my hooks. So I pull his elbows in as I extend my hooks out to stop this. From here, I bring my knees to my chest and sit up, putting me in a position to hit a butterfly sweep. Of course, Gordon Ryan's going to show some good moves, but what about his mindset instructional? In this, he explains his mindset when it comes to training and competition. But what I find funny is that it just sounds like he's mad at you the entire time.
Not go to training because your girlfriend broke up with you because you're sad. That's just pathetic. You think I'm out of shape? Well, we can get beat tomorrow and I guarantee you'll be gassed out in the first 5 minutes. If your wife's sick, you just cannot take the time off. I think if you need outside motivation and you're an athlete, you're kind of a weak individual, you shouldn't be an athlete.
Now his side control and mount instructionals. For a while, I would get to dominant positions, but struggle to get the finish. But these instructionals really helped me up my submission rate. So much so that I decided to pull a Gordon Ryan, and I called my submission for my most recent match. This is something Gordon's been doing to flex on his most recent opponents. I picked the triangle. This is how it went. Sorry for the bad angle, but I wasn't able to get the footage for the match. To start off, I hit an arm drag and start working some guard passing. As I'm getting the pass, a problem arises. My opponent keeps coming up to his knees, which opens up the rear naked choke, but I called the triangle. I bring my knee across for another pass, but once I'm in side control, he gives up his back. He escapes, and I end up on bottom, but I don't stay there for long. I hit an ankle pick and come on top. I start running around his guard. But once again, he comes up to his knees and enters into a single leg. But I flip him with my hook, and I end up in the better position. and to stop me from taking his back, he falls back to the mat. I push his knee down and go into the side smash. He tries framing, but I swat away his frame. I step over his knee and go to mount. This is where I wanted to be, but he starts kipping to escape. Time was running out. If I didn't get the finish, the match was going to be a draw. So I hip switch, threaten a heel hook, then go knee on belly. He turtles again, but this time I can't give up the opportunity. So I get the submission by rear naked choke. Fortunately, I didn't get the submission I called, but I still got the tap. However, the question still remains, are Gordon Ryan's instructionals worth their high price tag? I would argue, yes. Gordon shows a system of moves and incredibly important fundamentals in his instructionals. If used correctly, these instructionals can double the speed of your jiu-jitsu progression, and I think that alone makes them worth their price tag. Also, they're almost always on sale.